Hello and welcome to another edition of What Happened When... Oh, wait. I mean the Schmozcast. I'm Anthony, your host. Along in the studio with me today is Chandler and Andre. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing great today.
Doing excellent.
Good, that's what I like to hear. So you are currently listening to the Bludgeon Brothers theme song, kind of a repackage of the Wyatts, if you will. They're on the card tomorrow. We're going to talk a lot about Night of Champions. Let's talk about...
Clash of Champions.
Oh,
it used to be Night of Champions.
Oh, yeah. Good God. I don't read good.
So you and AOP have something in common?
Oh, nice. Wow. That's been building up for like 18 months. Yeah, hooked on phonics, dude. We can overcome this barrier together. Okay, so let's talk about the Bludgeon Brothers a little bit. They're on the card. We'll get more into the card a little bit, but I want to know what you guys think about this repackaging. I think that, well, let's hear from you guys first. Your opinion on the Bludgeon Brothers repackage, good or bad, and how necessary was this?
I think it's good. I would really hope that it's going to lead to them being SmackDown Tag Champs. Just because I feel like both Harper and Rowan deserve. I mean, I know that Harper held the titles in the Wyatt family with Randy or Bray, however they had it. I don't even know if maybe it was kind of a free bird thing. I don't really know. But Rowan definitely deserves it. Deserves to hold the titles, and I kind of like what they're doing with them. I like their gear. I like their song that we just played. I like that they're kind of starting off with just unknown talent that they've just been running through the past few weeks, and now at Clash of Champions they have a match against Breezango, so they're like kind of just starting at like the bottom of the tag team totem pole, and I would like to see them continue to climb and hopefully get to the titles.
Andre, this is kind of reminiscent of a different Wyatt member of what we saw from Braun Strowman when he came in and started to kind of branch off from the Wyatt family after the brand split, and we saw Braun Strowman kind of really taking care of jobbers and squash matches on a continual basis for a while to kind of build them up. Do you like that comparison, and do you think they're kind of doing the same thing but with the tag team version?
Yes, they're doing the same thing with the tag team version. However, I'm still not 100% sold on their current new gimmick.
Is it the hammer? Is it Mjolnir?
I think it's the hammer. The music is definitely great, so it's not that. And I'm a fan of both of them and both of their in-ring work as a tag team. So I'm going to give it some time because I want to see it succeed and I want to see them do well. I'm just not 100% sold on it, but I do like the direction as far as having them face jobbers enhancement talent, and then starting at the bottom.
Dirty
of the
word. That's a dirty
starting
word.
Starting at the bottom of the totem pole and working their way up. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, you're not sold because you haven't seen enough of the current gimmick, or you're worried that it's going to be too different or outlandish from what it was before, or what bothers you about it? Like,
as a fan of broken/woken Matt Hardy being the Elite, things of that nature, nothing can be too outlandish for me if it's entertaining. So that's a reason why I want to give it some time. I guess it's just the difference between them, and I guess you could say Matt Hardy is different than he was when he's broken and woken, but I don't know. Maybe something about it just hasn't clicked with me yet, and I want to give it some time because I like them both, like I said. And I don't know if it's the hammer. I think a lot of it had to do with the vignettes leading up to it, where they're always doing the Rowan, Harper, Bludgeon Brothers, and then hitting the camera that's facing up with the hammer.
I love those.
For some reason, I just didn't like them.
No, that's fine. I like it when we're on different sides of things.
But at the same time, like I said, I want to give it some time, so I don't want to completely throw them under the proverbial bus.
The bludgeon bus?
Because the bludgeon bus. Yeah, because
the bludgeon bus is coming and everybody's running. Sorry.
Because there's some time that needs to pass first, and I'm rooting for them. Put it that way.
Okay, so you're skeptical, you would say.
Yes.
And you hope for the best, but we'll see what happens. Here's what I want to ask you guys. Who needed this more? You could argue that Rowan is he floundered a little bit on his own. Harper was solid, but So I think that Harper needs that Rowan needs Harper more so than the other way. But for Harper, because I think we're all in agreement, he's the more talented of the two. Had the better solo run on multiple occasions, whether it be the ladder match for the IC title a few years ago with Ziggler, which was one of the best ladder matches we've seen certainly in the last decade. But with them not doing so much with him, maybe this tag team is saving Harper more so than Rowan. What do you guys think about that? I think you could make the case either way. Either way, though, I think they need each other. But who do you think is really needing this tag team more than the other?
At this point in time, I would say Rowan more than Harper, just because of what you had mentioned. How that's still that singles run that he had when he was the IC champ. That's not that long ago. 5 or so years ago. And as you said with Rowan, when he was on his own, he kind of just floundered. Like, he just floated around in obscurity. Didn't really see him much. He was pretty much just working house shows. And they tried a lot of different things in the house shows with Rowan. Like he had a bunch of different, kind of sheep masks. Like before he actually had the sheep mask that was like a clown, like a creepy clown. Before he actually brought that on TV, they had that in the house shows for a while, and he had like a couple other different kinds of sheep masks. And I don't know, like he just kind of floated around in obscurity, didn't really have much to do. So I think that Rowan would need this pairing more. But at the same time, like you said, they weren't really doing anything with Harper after the Wyatt family split. So they both can benefit from it, and that's a big part of the reason why I want to see them succeed, is because I feel like they're good at what they do. They're good wrestlers, and I just I want to see them do well.
Andre, is Rowan saving Harper, or is Harper saving Rowan?
They both need each other, but Rowan needs Harper a little bit more because as you've both pointed out, Harper, when he got a chance to have a singles run, he did a really good job. He touched the main event scene for a little bit. And in my opinion, that's still something to this day that I feel like they dropped the ball on, not having Harper in that world title match at WrestleMania to make it a 3-way with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. I think that would have been perfect storyline. Everything fit together for that. And I don't know if they went away from it last minute because they didn't, but that's beyond the point. But yeah, he had a chance. They both had chances as singles, and he kind of, took more advantage of it than Rowan did. So I think Rowan needs him a little bit more. But at this point in time, they both need each other because, yes, Harper had that IC title run, and he, touched the main event scene a little bit, but it wasn't. Recently, he hasn't been doing a whole lot. I don't know. Was he hurt? I can't remember.
I feel like they've both kind of traded off injuries at certain times where they've been out for a while. So it's good to see them both healthy and together again. And things are lining up for them, I think.
Yeah. So I think they need each other. They need each other, and they need a tag team because the tag team division is, getting a little stale there with just the New Day and Usos.
It's important to remember that. Yeah, I mean, Harper was this close to being in the main event at WrestleMania. Not only did they consider putting him in that triple threat with Wyatt and Orton, which I think that match would have benefited from. It's easy to say that now, months later after seeing the match. But I think that would have added a better element to it, and making that match a triple threat, I think, would have been the way to go. But, of course, hindsight 2020, blah, blah, blah. However, it's important to remember that a month or two prior to that, maybe even at the pay-per-view in Milwaukee, that wasn't Harper in a match that versus Orton, where if he would have won, he would have gone against Bray Wyatt and taken away, I guess, Orton's Royal Rumble #1 contendership. So he was that close to being in one of the heralded many multi-main events that we get at WrestleMania.
Wasn't he also in a Battle Royal with AJ Styles, and they both were supposed to fall at the same time, and there was a incident
That's what I'm saying. Early in 2017,
is that the same thing you're talking about?
It's not. No, but it's around the same time.
Okay.
It was early in 2017 that it seemed that there was a push for Harper. What's his first name? Luke. Rowan Harper. Good God. There's a baseball player or something. I don't know. It seems to be my issue always. Luke Harper. Christ. There seemed to be a big push for him at the beginning of the year, and really nothing since Mania. I mean, he was involved in a few things, to try and sew things up on the Bray Wyatt rivalry. But then with Wyatt going to Raw, there's now, I mean, there really hasn't been much for either of them. So it really is a good thing. I think that for Harper to go from, as you said, touching main event down to a tag team, but there was a big chunk in the middle of there, whereas Rowan is off TV and is now is something. So I think that Rowan needs Harper more than Harper needs it, but it might be another thing to kickstart Harper back to where he was a few years ago. And it's good for the tag team division. It's Usos, it's New Day, and I think that this will be a good match because you have the vaunted like scary monster horror theme slashers versus the hilarious duo of the buddy cops. You know what I mean? Like I think tomorrow that could be a really fun match. I think that it's gonna kind of teeter on both of those of like the damaging duo versus the hilarious tag team with the buddy cop film. So I'm actually I'm looking forward to that match.
Yeah, same here. I just want to point out when I said the tag team division's getting a little stale with New Day and Usos, nothing against those two. They're still incredible tag teams.
No, there's a drop off after them.
There's a drop off after them.
But I think that and we talked a little bit about this last week because there was a article about how the Usos and New Day were like watering down the tag team division because they're so top heavy, I guess.
I don't necessarily.
No, and I think that with Benjamin and Gable, that I think that team plus Breeze Dango and Bludgeon Brothers, you can rotate now the Usos and New Day with a few different teams and make it really fun and interesting. And Usos versus the Wyatts a few years ago was like one of the best rivalries of 2013 or 2014, especially in the tag team scene. But even when you just put all rivalries lined up, Usos and New Day, Usos and New Day, obviously very good too, but Usos and the Wyatts for the titles a few years ago,
great matches.
God. And
we even saw them at the house show. There was a tag title match that we got to see a part of this rivalry, and it was great. It was one of the best matches of the night that we saw.
Yeah, so I have no problem with them, kind of bouncing around those guys and bringing that back as a rivalry. But I think it's a good start for the Bludgeon Brothers to do what they've done so far. I think it makes sense. Monster heels, squash matches against jobbers. But you pointed out before the show that this week they might be jobbers to your average WWE fan, but they're actually pretty important on the independent scene.
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but he was in Yellow Trunks, and he took a wicked powerbomb where he at the very top of it screamed at the top of his lungs, and it was hilarious. And on commentary, everyone just lost their you know what. And he's actually the Chikara Grand Champion. So. That's a pretty big deal.
Oh, if you were to rank all of the wrestling promotions in the world, certainly you got WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA, if you will, I guess, Lucha Underground, but Chikara's in that top 7 to 10 range. Like they're up there.
Yep.
I mean, they're pretty well known.
And their wrestlers are really talented. Like obviously that was a squash match, so he wasn't able to display what he can do. But I actually looked him up. Like I said, unfortunately I can't remember his name. But
I just called a wrestler Rowan Harper. So
yeah. Okay, Juan Francisco de Coronado. Am I saying that right, Frony?
Where are we at here? Coronado.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Hell yeah.
All right. High school Spanish coming through.
Bring it on.
But no, yeah. So I looked him up, and he's really talented. Like he can move around in the ring. Like he's a smaller guy, but yeah, he's a talented guy. And the fact that WWE is using someone like that and giving them that kind of spotlight, even though it was just a squash match, but just to get that exposure, it's fantastic.
Plus, it says you're willing to do business.
Yep.
And you're not too high on your horse saying, I'm not going to show up just to be a jobber or a squash match or whatever. You're getting eyes on you, and the screaming thing, like, I don't know, it's another thing that people might look up on YouTube. It's another way to kind of further your brand on your own. So I'm all about that, and I like WWE using. I love the local jobbers thing, or using even somebody who is much more important than your average just like local guy that they bring in. I think that's cool. I totally encourage that. I like that stuff, and who knows, that might be something really good for that guy down the road. And that's always interesting to me. Since we're kind of talking about the tag team division, let's talk about the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So originally this was Usos, New Day, and then Gable and Benjamin. Now Rusev and Aiden English have been added into it. Did that happen on Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay. What was the story behind that?
Or did it happen last week? Not this past Tuesday, but the one before that. I can't remember.
I can't remember, but I don't think so. I think it happened more recently.
Okay.
But I just don't remember how it.
Well, I know that in the past 2 weeks that 2 weeks ago, not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before that, Rusev defeated I think it was one of the Usos, and then this week Aiden English got defeated the other. So I think with those 2 wins that they kind of got added to.
Was this something where they didn't do it on TV, where they added it on social media? Because they do that a lot, where they make announcements. This match is turned in, because I think the Bobby Roode, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler triple threat match was announced as a triple threat match on Twitter and Facebook before it was announced on anywhere
SmackDown,
else.
yeah.
So that might have been the case in that situation. But I mean, it's only fair to give Rusev. I mean, Clash of Champions does fall on Rusev Day, so it's only fair to give him a match on Rusev Day for the tag team championships.
Yeah, it's only right.
You can't not have Rusev be there for Rusev Day. So
I mean, it's Rusev season.
Yeah.
It is.
Does that mean tonight is Rusev Eve?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes.
Every night's Rusev Eve.
So the fatal four-way. How do you guys think? Is this going to be? You can tag anybody and 2 guys in the ring, or it's going to be like tornado style?
You have to tag in your partner. It's still going to be 2 guys in the ring, but you can only tag your partner. They said that on SmackDown.
You can only tag your partner.
Yeah.
How do you get a third person in? Just elimination, or
no? It's going to be one fall.
If I can only tag my partner, though, how does anyone get in the ring?
Frony. How does?
At least I thought that's
like
what
if I'm in a match and I can only tag you. How?
I don't remember hearing. Did they maybe say you can't tag your partner?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I might have misheard it, because now that you're saying that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
How would anyone else come in? Yeah.
You have to be able.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless there are 3 guys
scratch
in the
what
ring,
I just said. Yeah,
4 guys in the ring at the same time.
You know what I'd like to see a rule kind of adopted for WWE, at least in a situation like this. If you go over the ropes, especially with some of the flyers that you'd have, or guys that would be willing to do that in this match, is that when you go out of the ring, it's the same thing as a tag. Like someone else can come in. I love that in different Mexican promotions or Lucha Underground. Do they do that same as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like an official rule, but like someone goes out of the ring, the person on the apron just gets in and they just start.
Yeah, because in whatever AAA or CMLL, that's kind of like a standard thing in Mexico, that if you jump out of the ring, that works as a tag. Somebody else can come in your place, which I like that, and especially in a 4-way situation, I think that would be kind of fun. And with the teams you have, Usos and New Day, maybe the best rivalry of 2017. We're going to find out in a few weeks if it gets the schmozzy for that. But Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, 2 amazing wrestlers, in whether it be professional or amateur. And Rusev and Aiden English, kind of a weird duo and kind of a weird add-on here, but it makes more sense to have a fatal 4-way than it does a triple threat tag team. So I'm okay with it. I think we all are on the same boat that Rusev is capable of more, and we'd like to see him do a little bit more than being in a tag team with Aiden English. This is, if we were to do the same question for about the Bludgeon Brothers, certainly Aiden English is getting a lot more help from Rusev than the other way around.
100%.
Aiden English, are they holding on just because of the Eddie Guerrero thing? Like, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just
what Eddie Guerrero thing?
Isn't he married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think that's why. To me, that's why Aiden English has had a job for. I'm saying he just doesn't look like a WWE superstar to me, and sometimes that's a really good thing. He's been in a weird spot in the company. I didn't really see him going up past NXT, really. So, and I don't want to I'm not trying to be disparaging, but Aiden English to me would be better off on independence and doing other things than what they've done with him so far. What do you guys think about Aiden English?
I was never an Aiden English fan, really, until this Rusev Day stuff. And I really enjoy him doing that. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. So I don't think I'm going to be a long-term fan of his, because I wasn't before this. And I think part of the reason I'm a fan of his now is because of his association with Rusev mainly, which obviously it is. But still, it's the Rusev factor. And once that Rusev factor is taken away from Aiden English, I don't think I'll be much of a fan of his. So I no offense to him, but I agree. I never really enjoyed his singing gimmick until it had something that it worked with the Rusev Day songs. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to give him props because I'm really enjoying what he's doing now with Rusev. So I don't want to just sound like I'm crapping on him. So good for him for making me, enjoy what he's doing right now. And I will see if I continue to like it. But odds are, I don't think. I mean, I'll continue to like it as long as he's doing it with Rusev. But odds are, once he leaves Rusev,
you're done with him.
I'm done with him, and maybe that's the case with WWE.
That's really shallow, man. That's just really shallow.
But I'm the type of guy I'll change my mind on someone if they can prove it to me. I'll change my mind. I've done it plenty of times. Jinder Mahal being a huge example. I did not like him, and now he's one of my favorites.
Aiden English, Chandler?
Yeah, I've never really cared much for him. In NXT, I absolutely hated his singing gimmick, and I know I was supposed to, but I just was not a fan of anything that he did there. And
the tag team,
when he was when the Vaudevillains were together in NXT, when they had the championships, they were hot.
Yes,
and
that was the best matches.
That was good. But then once the Vaudevillains came onto the main roster, I didn't care for him then, and I didn't care for Aiden English after Simon Gotch was let go, and he kind of went back to the same NXT gimmick where he would come out and sing. I mentioned on the drive here to Andre that him pretty much Aiden English on his own, like not in a tag team, whether it's the Vaudevillains or now with Rusev, him on his own is his gimmick and Elias's gimmick are pretty much the same thing, but Elias does a better job of it. And I don't know if it's because of the guitar. I don't know if it's because, I think it's mostly just because of the songs that he sings and how he craps on whatever town that he's in. I just like the way that he does that. And Aiden English does the exact same thing when he's singing on his own, but Elias just does a better job of it, in my opinion. And I never was a fan of when Aiden English did it on his own. I like the pairing of him and Rusev, though. Like you said, obviously we all want more. We want more, bigger things for Rusev, world titles, whatnot. But I've enjoyed what they've been doing with this whole Rusev Day thing, and yeah, I'm just, like I said, I've never really been big on Aiden English, so.
It's the wrong kind of heat. It is the heat that, I don't care about you.
Yes.
Make me hate you, or do something, make me love you. But if Aiden English wasn't in WWE, it wouldn't be. And it's not like it's a different. I don't have the same kind of hate where I didn't ever want to see a Jack Swagger or Ryback match ever again. I don't hate him that much. It's like he's almost meaningless. I guess I am being pretty bad today.
But I know what you're saying, and I know we're not trying to to tear him down or anything. But at the same time, it's that's what you said is perfect. I just don't care. It's not like I like him or I dislike him. I just don't care. And if he were to be let go from his contract tomorrow, it would make no difference to me.
That TV time, and I know it'd be different, but if there's so many other people I would give that to, the time he's been on. I know you couldn't do exactly the same thing with the singing gimmick or whatever, but yeah, I pick anybody in NXT. I would rather give them that TV time, but whatever. The Rusev Day thing is fun. It's funny. It's solid. We want more, but it's good for now, and it's something. But you're right. It's very similar to the Elias gimmick, and you have the Elias shirt right now, which is...
I want to walk with him.
Oh, my God. It is such a good T-shirt. It is like the classic 70s classic rock mixed with the Warriors kind of T-shirt. It's great. But no, he is much more endearing. And is it the guitar and the songs, because it's more like bluesy and folksy as opposed to... 1930s, he's going to try and do a duet with Dorothy from Wizard of Oz or something. I don't know.
Oh my!
And it's unfortunate to me that the gimmick of Aiden English doesn't work, because he's like a tortured thespian, starving artist kind of guy,
yeah.
And I feel like there's room for that to be entertaining and fun, but just it's gotten lost in translation somewhere along the way.
Could someone else pull it off, or is it writing, or what do you think?
That's a good question. I think that I feel like it's writing part of it, and I feel like if if you had, I don't know. I feel like it could work with it, possibly with someone else. It could, I think, just because I'm a fan of the gimmick itself, and I think that if done right, it could be something that could get over.
Do you think having Elias around at the exact same time as the singing thespian gimmick hurt Aiden English?
In my eyes, yes, because like I said, I made the comparison, and it's, I'm wearing this T-shirt. It's obvious which one I like more. So,
do you think you'd like him more? What I'm saying is, do you think you'd like him more if there was no Elias, or would you still kind of be just like not?
No,
okay.
I wouldn't like him more if there wasn't Elias. But the fact that Elias is around and I've made that comparison, it definitely it doesn't help him. Yeah, it doesn't help me being a fan of Aiden English.
Aiden English is married to the eldest daughter of Vicky and Eddie Guerrero.
I had no idea about
and
that.
She did spend time in Florida Championship Wrestling, and I'm not sure what her current status is, but she was Raquel Diaz in Florida Championship Wrestling. But so we'll see. And then this will be the last time we ever talk about Aiden English again. But to me, Aiden English, I want you guys to tell me what you think his ceiling is. To me, he hit his ceiling in NXT, and then his main roster ceiling is being like the fourth or fifth member of a faction. That's where I'm at with it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't see him getting much past that.
I hate to sound pessimistic, but I think he has reached his ceiling right now with Rusev.
So there you go. We're done talking about Aiden English for
You
probably
don't want to talk some
probably
more about Mr.
ever.
English?
Yeah, Billy English maybe. Also on the card, we've got a United States Championship triple threat match.
So looking forward to this one.
This one's going to be Baron Corbin, who is defending his championship against Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. This could be this. I mean, it's a solid card we put together here. This could steal the show in terms of in-ring wrestling match. Why are you so excited about this one?
As you know, I'm not a fan of Baron Corbin, but I'm a huge Bobby Roode fan. Dolph Ziggler, I know it's his character, but he is one of the best in-ring performers in the history of professional wrestling. And yeah, I don't like Baron Corbin much, but every time I've seen him in a triple threat match or a multi-man match, he has been really good. So I have really high hopes for this match. I really want to see Bobby Roode take the title, and I think it's going to steal the show. That tag team fatal four-way match is going to be really good, but I think it's going to be kind of a cluster with all the teams. So I think this triple threat match is going to be the best match of the night. But I can never count out AJ Styles and anyone that he's in the ring with. So I don't know, but yeah, this triple threat match, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited. I think it's going to be really fun and I think they're going to get enough time to really tell a good story.
Chandler, what do you think here?
I agree with everything that Andre just said. I'm just looking forward to this match just as much, and as you guys both said, this has the potential to steal the show. As far as what I think is going to happen, like the results of this match, I kind of feel like how do you not put the title on Bobby Roode in this situation? If you don't keep it on Baron Corbin, how does it not go to Bobby Roode? Dolph Ziggler is in such a weird spot right now with his WWE career. I do not see him winning the United States Championship on Sunday, and if he does, it's gonna seem so like out of left field and weird.
Is Ziggler in the match so that way Corbin can lose without being pinned?
Possibly. I don't really know like why else he was thrown into this match. I mean, yeah, him and Bobby Roode did just come off of a build up to the last pay-per-view, a like rivalry build up to the previous pay-per-view. But it was weird. He came out and his music was playing again. Like, so the whole thing that the whole angle that he had where he was, impersonating people, and then eventually he came out and his music would start playing, and then it was like a record scratch, and then it was just no lights, no music, nothing. That's done apparently. And like I said, he's just in such a weird spot with it, in his WWE career. The man's, he's a 2-time world champ, former IC champ, former US champ, Mr. Money in the Bank. He has a really, really strong list of accolades, but they just have done nothing with him for so long. I don't see, like, for those reasons, I don't see him winning the title, and I I feel like now would be the time to put the title on Bobby Roode because he's still hot. He's not as hot as he was when he first came up from NXT, but he still has enough of a buzz that, you know, he could take the title and do something with it.
Dolph Ziggler, you're exactly right about Dolph Ziggler. It feels like, and what I think and a lot of people think, it feels like he has one foot out the door and one foot in. So he's, I don't want to say he's going through the motions.
He's doing the hokey pokey.
He's
shakes it all about.
Because he's still great in the ring. It doesn't look like he's phoning it in or going through the motions, but it does seem like he's headed out and he's looking. I don't want to speak for him, but it appears that he's looking at the future, and this is just the end of his WWE run. So I would agree with you that he's in a really weird spot, and it's interesting, and it's I don't know.
It's come to the point where I'm more excited to see what Ziggler could do on the independents, whether it be Ibushi, Cody Rhodes, a lot of different
Omega.
things. Oh my God, yeah.
Anyone.
I think Ziggler's, I think his apex is outside of WWE right now. I think that he's done what he can do. I wouldn't mind seeing him with a tag team, either in a tag team with someone else who's really also important but maybe has floundered, or where he kind of leads a faction where he has a tag team kind of under him, sort of like what Angle did with
Team Angle.
Team Angle. What do they call it? The greatest tag team in the world, or what were they?
World's
greatest tag team. There you go. I wouldn't mind seeing Ziggler in a situation like that where he's kind of mentoring other guys, and he's great on the mic, so you could give him that sort of semi-manager, but also kind of like a mentor, who can also go in the ring too, and then also you have those 3-on-3 matches. You go, throw him in a tag team against the New Day or whoever. I think there's like good options for that.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a good potential. But yeah, unfortunately, Ziggler, I think he's put in this match so he can take the pin. Corbin, like you guys said, when it comes to big matches, he's pretty consistent. He's kind of like that player who plays their best when it, in the fourth quarter or in big games, he comes to play. And not to say that he is phoning it in on a SmackDown or whatever, but Corbin doesn't really disappoint. And this goes back to NXT. Like, he put on some really good NXT matches. Those cards were just stacked. It's hard to say that, okay, the Corbin match was the best match or whatever, but Baron Corbin doesn't really lie down for these moments. And even if they are taking the belt off him, he does tend to play well in these situations.
And I also like how far he's come along in the ring. He impresses me. I'm just gonna be pretty much repeating what you guys have said. But yeah, he shows up for those big pay-per-view matches. That was a great point that Andre brought up. The fact that when he's in like multi-man matches, like that's usually when he shines the brightest. So it's great that he's in this position and that he can keep up in this position.
Yeah, he's someone that's up and down for me. Sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. And it's nothing, I don't know, it's nothing personal. I don't want to feel like I'm crapping on a wrestler. But I don't know if it's the way he's booked or portrayed on TV, but I'm just not really behind him until I see him in certain matches, and it's kind of a weird thing for me with Baron Corbin, where I was like this with Dolph Ziggler for a long time too, where I wasn't feeling the character and feeling how he was portrayed on TV, but then every time he stepped in the ring, he made me like him. Not that Corbin is at that level, but as Chandler said, he has improved, and I can't justly hate on him as easily as I used to anymore because of that. He's had some great matches, especially in the triple threat multi-man matches, but there's been a few other matches. There's that one with I think it was Sin Cara or Kalisto, one of the two with the table with the chairs match, which was surprisingly very good. So yeah, he's an interesting spot for me, but yeah, I give him props where props is due.
God, I'd almost like to see Corbin and Ziggler have a tag team at some point. I know it sounds weird, but I think it could actually work. Who knows? I want to see Bobby Roode win this match. I want to see Bobby Roode win this match and then turn heel, either cut a promo afterwards to turn heel. It's going to be hard to turn heel in Boston, winning the title and turning on, or continuing to like beat up Corbin or Ziggler. So there'll have to be something more to it to really make it a full heel turn. Maybe you start a slow burn, not really sure, but that's what just as a fan, that's what I'd like to see, a Rude win and a heel turn. I think that'd be best for him. And also the U.S. Championship, I think it would make it mean a little bit more.
It would make it glorious.
Yeah, that's right. And then I'd like to see Rude and Mahal in a feud for the U.S. title. That brings us to our WWE Championship match. AJ Styles defending against Jinder Mahal. Well, this is like, your girlfriend versus your side piece. So
Yep.
who are you going to go with here?
This is Andre's choice.
Yeah.
This is a win-win situation for me because I'm a huge fan of both of these wrestlers.
Double count out.
Yeah. So if Jinder wins and retains the title, I'm going to be incredibly happy. If he doesn't, I'm going to be incredibly happy too because it's AJ Styles is going to still be the champion. So this is the best possible situation for me as a fan because it's not someone where it's like, oh, this guy has to win, otherwise I'm not going to be happy. I don't know. I want to see Jinder win because I'm a huge Jinder fan, but at the same time, I still want that AJ Styles Nakamura WrestleMania match. And I think the best way to do that is to keep it on Styles now. So I don't know. I think I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this match. Odds are I think Styles is going to win. But if he doesn't, like I said, I'll be happy either way. So I'm just going to enjoy this match. I think it's going to be really good. Jinder gets a little bit of a bad rap in the ring. I think he's a really solid performer. And in the ring with a guy like Styles, obviously because Styles is so good, it's going to be a really good match. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do here. And whoever wins is, great. That's who I picked. So that's who I picked beforehand, like the King used to do with Royal Rumble.
I've been watching Royal Rumbles this week, and it's so great. It's Viscera, it's Rikishi. It's so funny.
Yeah. So whoever wins is who I'm picking.
That's great. Chandler, I imagine that you want to see the belt stay around the waist of AJ Styles.
Absolutely. I am a fan of Jinder Mahal and the modern day Maharaja gimmick. I'm a total fan of that. I like him. I'm okay with him being the heel to AJ's face. But I absolutely 100% want AJ Styles to retain the title.
I think I'm on board with that. Suppose we do get Styles Nakamura at WrestleMania. Do you think that the title has to be on one of them to do that? I think that those two can go without it. I actually would like to see maybe the belt go a different way, just because I think those two that's going to draw regardless.
I think it doesn't necessarily have to be the title for the WWE Championship. Obviously they would tear it down. They've shown that they can, and just the fact that they're having this match at WrestleMania would be a big enough deal, but adding the WWE Championship to it would make it that much more meaningful and that much more important. So I would like to see the title on the line for that.
Yes, I agree with that. It does not need the title whatsoever because they're both so good, but it should get the title. And the stories they can tell, as I've said multiple times, I'd love to see Shinsuke fight for a long time and win the Royal Rumble and set up the match with AJ Styles. The title just adds to it, and it makes it more meaningful. But it doesn't need it. It would already be meaningful without it. So I'm with Chandler. I want to see it with the title. And I think that's the best way to go, because we all know what Raw is going to give us. So we need something that it's going to give the the hardcore smart marks what they want to see. And AJ versus Shinsuke, especially for the WWE title, which is in our minds the most prestigious title in WWE, I think that's the way to go.
I'd like to see certainly Styles Nakamura, and that's fine if that one has the title. If not, I think Owens with the title against somebody, unless they're going to keep him and Zayn together, because those two against Usos or New Day at Mania would also be great. But wasn't it the best moment of another down Money in the Bank where Styles and Nakamura faced off and then put the ladder aside and decided, like, all right, we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. And that was the moment of the pay-per-view. Like, not just that match or whatever. That was the match. That was the point where the crowd was at the hottest. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, where they look at each other. Instead of going up the ladder on each side, they moved the ladder to face off in the ring. And it was that was the moment of June, I think, for the SmackDown brand. That was amazing.
And yeah, I mean, with that moment, like that was just the seed planted. And yeah, they had a couple of encounters, since then on SmackDown and whatnot. But like, yeah, that was really the beginning of teasing the idea of those two having a match in the under the WWE, and hopefully it'll be at WrestleMania for the title.
A couple other matches that we're not going to talk too much about would be Charlotte, who is the current champion, facing off Natalya. It's a women's lumberjack match. We've seen this one quite a bit. We'll give you results next week. Kickoff match is Zack Ryder against Mojo Rawley, former tag team. A little heel turn for Rawley, turning against Zack Ryder. That'll be your kickoff match tomorrow. That's a solid kickoff match.
Absolutely.
Sometimes
I'm okay with those guys in that spot. And I'm guessing that Mojo's gonna win, and hopefully maybe that'll propel him a little bit, give him something to do. But yeah, I agree with that. That's a good matchup for the kickoff.
So let's talk about Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura against Owens and Zayn. Owens and Zayn, this makes very much sense. I don't quite get the Orton-Nakamura tandem yet. Do you get anything different from that? I mean, sure, they're faces.
The two remaining baby faces that don't have anything to do. So in typical WWE style, you put them together.
Which is, I mean, I'm glad they're on the card as opposed to doing nothing. And they're trying to make it make sense by, I guess, having them save each other, I suppose. But overall, I'm excited for this match. But it's Orton and Nakamura are like the low point of the match. Nakamura is one of my favorites. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying the story is Owens and Zayn against the powers that be, and that would be Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. So it's not really about Orton and Nakamura. It's not even about them teaming up. That's not where the story's at, and I don't know if that's where the match is going to be at either.
Well, also, there's a huge stipulation to this match that is intertwined with the story, which in my opinion, is why the story is more important than the fact that they're going against Randy Orton and Nakamura. Where if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens lose tomorrow night, they're done. Not just on SmackDown, they're done. Period in the WWE. So there's that, and then also you have Shane McMahon. Originally, Shane McMahon appointed himself the special guest referee. This past week on SmackDown, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn tried to hashtag Occupy SmackDown, and they started their very own Yep movement, reminiscent of some other guy that did something similar to that. But They did that. Nobody came out. They were backstage like the whole episode, handing out flyers with Shane McMahon's picture on it, crossed out like a no smoking sign, like, or whatever, just crossed out. And they went to the ring and tried to get all the people that they thought they had recruited out. No one shows up. Finally, Daniel Bryan walks out, and it's weird. I think Andre, a few weeks ago you said that this could be a Daniel Bryan heel turn of sorts. It kind of seems that way because it kind of seems like he's siding more with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in this situation, which is why he then also appointed himself as the second guest referee in this match. So there's going to be two referees, and Daniel Bryan made himself the referee to try and make sure that things are on the up and up. And oh man, him on commentary this week? During Daniel Bryan. On commentary, going back and forth with Byron Saxton, because Daniel Bryan was saying how he kind of understands Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's plight because they all literally took the same path. They started in the independents, made it to Ring of Honor,
which is why it makes sense.
Yes.
I like the writing behind this.
Yes, and him and Byron Saxton, because Byron Saxton was saying how he shouldn't be siding with them. Daniel Bryan is saying how he understands where they're coming from because they had to grind to get where they are. Byron Saxton saying that the stuff that they did outside of WWE wasn't important, and just Daniel Bryan saying like, oh, so you really know how the business works, don't you? This type of the back and forth that they had, like they were blurring some lines there, and it was really good.
Reminiscent of our Talking Smack days,
yeah,
I would hope.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I'm going to have to go back and check that out.
Absolutely.
I love Daniel Bryan. He's someone that he just says what he wants.
Yes.
In character, out of character. He doesn't care. And I love that. And I really do hope that this does lead to a heel turn, because it seems like they're really hinting at it hard. And there's no way that Owens and Zayn are done in their WWE careers. Obviously, even if they lose, they're gonna do something to try and win their way back before WrestleMania. But I see an easier, cleaner way out. No pun intended, because it won't be clean. But having Daniel Bryan as someone that turns on them, and we always do the heel authority figure. And right now we have the babyface and babyface authority figure, and we kind of have the heel babyface authority figure on Raw, and they did that a few times. But I'd like to see it with the Daniel Bryan and a Shane McMahon, and I specifically like to see it in this situation because it'll be a McMahon as the babyface, which is not usually the case.
This is uncharted territory,
And
which is really refreshing this last year of not having heel powers that be, but then also kind of a duo of McMahon and Bryan, and kind of role reversal. The McMahon being the good guy,
especially if Daniel Bryan turns face, because it'll be a McMahon good guy, and then it'll be Daniel Bryan, one of the most beloved superstars in WWE history as a heel. I think there's a lot you can do with that, especially if he aligns himself, whether long-term, short-term, or just a little bit or indirectly with Owens and Zayn. There's so much you can do with that. And I don't think we'll see him in the ring, but you never know. You never know. I'm not giving up hope. We will see him in the ring outside of WWE, but who knows what this leads to. That's all I'm going to say.
December 16th, 2017. I'm saying right now, Daniel Bryan is wrestling at WrestleMania in New Orleans, the same place that he was the man, 4 years ago at WrestleMania 30, also in New Orleans. Daniel Bryan's having a match at WrestleMania. And right now, I think it's going to be against Shane McMahon. I'm saying it right now. Bryan is going to wrestle at this next WrestleMania coming up in a few months.
I would absolutely lose it if that were to happen. Oh, God. Oh, man.
But I think I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
It's too hard for me to say that, but man, I hope you are right. I hope you are, because I will lose it as well.
But that, once again, it's kind of a weird area for Orton and Nakamura. So what happens if they lose?
Nothing.
I mean, what? It's just kind of a weird thing. It's a fine story, and I'm okay with it. And you're gonna put two top-ish guys or people who are main event worthy and at least of hovering around that scene and amazing wrestlers. Obviously, I've soured on Orton the last few years, but this is a solid spot for him. It's kind of just weird though, the duo with him and Nakamura, and they're not necessary to the storyline. It also it could be Bobby Roode and Rusev, or I'm just throwing this out there, it could be anybody.
Yep.
So it's a weird spot for them, but it's a very important match, so you gotta at least like that. But that's the wrestlers that you have in this. Orton, he can hold his own. I know I don't want to be down on him too much, but to get Shinsuke and Owens and Zayn in the same ring, I'm super excited about that. Plus Daniel Bryan and McMahon. There's a lot of different things going on in this match that are super fun, and I'm really looking forward to this one.
Is adding Daniel Bryan as a second referee, is that overbooking? Is that overkill? Is that too much?
I don't know. If maybe they had billed him as a special enforcer instead of a referee.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. Do you think it's overkill?
I don't know. I've kind of questioned that to myself, and the fact that the tag title match went from a one-on-one to a triple threat to a now fatal
sure
four-way.
Everybody has something.
And I know it's Clash of Champions. It's a big, they want every title match to be important. But I just kind of asked myself, with these two matches, is that overbooking? Is that too much?
It's interesting, but no, I think with the addition of Daniel Bryan, that's what makes me think A, he's definitely going to wrestle at WrestleMania, or B, there is a heel turn in the works here. Something's up with it. Something is going to come of it. I don't think that they would do that as just an unnecessary piece. You would think, especially with the more consistent of the two writing teams, certainly being SmackDown, things tend to make more sense and be wrapped up a little bit more properly than what we get on Raw quite occasionally.
Yeah, I don't think it's over. I think it is, but it's supposed to be because of the whole Daniel Bryan aspect.
It's a part of the story.
It's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's supposed to be confusion there. There's supposed to be a little bit of,
smoke signals and trying to throw us off the scent, which is fine.
Tension with Shane and Daniel Bryan. So, yeah, it's overbooked, but it needs to be, and it's necessary, and it's important for the
and
story.
it makes sense too. Like I'm not saying that it's overbooked, because usually that's the case when you feel like something is overbooked, or they're doing too much. It doesn't make much sense. Everything that's going on with, especially this tag match with Nakamura and Orton versus Zayn and Owens, what they're doing with that makes sense.
And it makes sense even with it being Orton and Nakamura, even though it doesn't make sense storyline. It really does, because Shane McMahon is the commissioner, and of all the people that aren't on the card,
he's going to give them the top
best.
guys
the
that
two
are
best guys are those two guys.
to
so
take them out.
It makes sense.
And I think you're right. That's fair to say. Another thing I like about this is not a fork in the road where you go left or right. There's many different doors, many different options. It's a roundabout with a lot of different outlets. So that's what's cool about it. There's either team could win. Brian, I
could see someone reversing someone else's decision, and then that leading to some serious.
There's
so much you can do. Yeah, you're right.
So I'm very excited for this one. Okay, let's go rapid fire. You guys are going to pick the winner of each match, and then we're going to tie things up here before we get out of here with a tweet of the week. Okay, let's go. First match, Breezango or Bludgeon Brothers?
Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers.
SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Fatal 4-Way.
I think the Usos retain.
Check this out. Gable and Benjamin.
How about it? Okay, U.S. Championship match. I'm going with Rude here.
Bobby Roode.
The glorious one, Bobby Roode.
There you go. Okay, we've got the tag team match that we were talking about with Owens and Zayn against Orton and Nakamura.
Owens and Zayn.
Owens and Zayn, yeah.
Flair and Natalya.
Flair.
Flair for the gold?
Flair for the gold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Styles and Mahal.
The phenomenal AJ Styles.
They don't want none.
Yeah, they don't want it indeed, because it will be AJ Styles.
All right, there you go. Things that we want to get to before we wrap up the show. Final battle title changes.
Yes, we have a new Ring of Honor World Champion in one Dalton Castle. Milwaukee's own Silas Young captured the Ring of Honor Television Championship, and also they announced there will be a tournament to determine the very first Women of Honor champion.
I saw the belt. It looks solid. There's pink in there, and sometimes I think we all go, but it's really not bad.
It's a solid belt.
Yeah, it is.
Also,
Ring of Honor does a good job.
Also, title changes, physical title change. Ring of Honor debuted at Final Battle. They debuted a new World Championship belt as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
All right. Also, a mixed match challenge. Tell us about that.
That's going to be airing on Facebook. And they're gonna have, it's gonna be a SmackDown versus Raw type of thing, where they're gonna just randomly put a guy and a girl together in a tag match, or a guy and a girl as a tag team against one from Raw against someone from SmackDown. And I'm pretty excited about it, because they haven't announced who's going to be with who, and the only thing that I know for sure that's concrete is that it is SmackDown versus Raw. So
this is really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing. Yep. That's gonna be interesting watching on Facebook Live.
I like that. I think that's a really good way. Make use of the internet as long as it's somewhat free. Anyway, rest in peace, Rich Swann. For now, I guess.
At least his career. We want to say that.
Yes. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. You never want to assume things before all the details, or people have been, they're pleading guilty or not guilty, whatever the situation was. Holy cow! Very unexpected. I would have put him last to have a situation like this. Apparently, he does have a pretty wicked temper though when he's not in the ring. But I don't know. He came through as such a lovable, wonderful dude that you just seem to root for him and the story and the life he's lived. So who knows? We'll see what happens with Rich Swann. But Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, another great back-to-back promos. It got a little bit weird, but I think then the continuous laughing very much in the Dr. Evil group of villains kind of thing, which I thought was actually a lot of fun, where they're just laughing.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, and it goes on way too long, but then you're like, oh. And then they start winding up again. You're like, oh, all right, this is great. The overkill is great. We talked a little bit last week about another good opponents for Woken Matt Hardy. Bray Wyatt's going to be the guy. I think hopefully they ride this out till Mania. We talked about Finn Balor the Demon. I thought that more old school Goldust also would be a fun back and forth. I think that would be one that I'd like to see for a little while. I think Goldust and Woken Matt Hardy would be
That would be a lot of fun.
Quite the little rivalry
Yes.
there. So I hopefully in the spring maybe we get that. I think that one makes sense, and that could be a lot of fun with like movie quotes to Woken Matt Hardy's I don't even know what Don Quixote
my
type
God.
of. That'd be a super cool, very very fun, entertaining, and I think it would make sense. We didn't really get to too much about the lists. But we'll talk more about that in the next couple weeks. Once we wrap up 2017, we'll get back to our top matches. Omega, Jericho, anything you guys want to get in on this?
I think that they are doing a perfect job building this matchup. All of the interactions that they've had with Jericho just showing up in the ring, busting Kenny Omega open with his own belt. The backstage interactions that they've been having, just fantastic. I'm so excited for this match.
It's awesome. It's great. It's taken a little bit of a different turn with the attacks on each other, but I love it. I think the match is gonna definitely live up to expectations. I'm loving seeing them go back and forth. I'm loving seeing Jericho have a little less PG, a little more freedom to say what he wants, a little profanity, stuff like that, a little blood. I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to this.
Wrestle Kingdom is going to be absolutely spectacular. Can't wait for that. Just, my goodness, look at the card. I'm freaking salivating. Okay, tweets of the week. Mine comes from last week, so I know it's somewhat illegal, but whatever. Someone tweeted at Dolph Ziggler saying, I hate Dolph Ziggler. I've always hated his fake ass. Dolph Ziggler retweeted and responded, leave my implants out of this. And what do you guys got for tweet of the week, Andre?
I had a great one from last week that I can't find, so I'll just go one from this week. It's from Brian Zane, who's a wrestling YouTuber. He posted a picture of Cody Rhodes from Final Battle. If you haven't seen him, you have to see him. But he posted the picture and then tweeted, Baron Blade made it to the show. And if you don't know who Baron Blade is from WWE 2K17, then you won't get that, but that made me laugh for a long time.
Chandler, what do you got for tweet of the week?
My tweet of the week was just a picture of Silas Young that he posted of the Ring of Honor World title in his bag. New champ, same crappy gear bag. Like I said, he's a Milwaukee boy, so I'm happy, and he's been wrestling for a really long time. I'm happy that he has the TV title right now.
Very good. All right, well, that wraps up our show. Everyone, thank you for listening to the Schmozcast. Catch us next week at 11 a.m. right here on 103.5, The Sun, WLSP, LP, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. They can also check us out on social media.
Yep, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Schmozcast.
All right, for Chandler and Andre, I am Anthony signing out. Catch us next week at our regular time, 11 a.m. Thanks for tuning in.